100%.
When was that?
All through human history until the invention of war.
I thought my ancestors were out hunting all day.
No, they went out hunting once a week. They fed the tribe for the week. They gathered for a couple of hours every day. Farmers, saw the seeds and waited for months on end.
What did they do with the rest of the time?
They connected as humans. They explored. They were curious. They discussed spirituality and the stars. They lived. They hugged. They made love. They lived.
They killed each other a lot.
They still kill each other today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
to take that out of the equation.
But if you look at how,
and by the way, that statement, again, one of the 25 tips I talk about to tell the truth is words mean a lot. No, humans did not kill each other a lot. Very few generals instructed humans, or tribe leaders instructed lots of humans to kill each other. But if you leave humans alone, I tend to believe 98% of the people I know, let me just take that sample, wouldn't hit someone in the face. And if someone attempted to hit them in the face, they'd defend themselves but wouldn't attack back. Most humans are okay. Most of us are wonderful beings. Most of us have no, most people don't need a Ferrari. They want a Ferrari because it gets sold to them all the time. But if there were no Ferraris or everyone had a Ferrari, people wouldn't care. Which, by the way, that is the world we're going into. There will be no Ferraris, or everyone had Ferraris, right? The majority of humanity will never have the income on UBI to buy something super expensive. Only the very top guys in Elysium will be, driving cars that are made for them by the AI, or not even driving anymore, okay? Or, again, sadly, from an ideology point of view, it's a strange place. But you'll get communism that functions. The problem with communism is that it didn't function. It didn't provide for its society. But the concept was, you know what? Everyone gets their needs. And I don't say that supportive of either society. I don't say that because I dislike capitalism. I always told you, I'm a capitalist. I want to end my life with 1 billion happy. And I use capitalist methods to get there. The objective is not dollars. The objective is number of happy people.
Do you think there'll be, my girlfriend, she's always bloody right. I've said this a few times on this podcast. If you've listened before, you've probably heard me say this. I don't tell her enough in the moment, but I figure out from speaking to experts that she's so fucking right. She predicts things before they happen. And one of her predictions that she's been saying to me for the last 2 years, which in my head I've been thinking, now I don't believe that. But now maybe I'm thinking she's true. She's telling the truth. I hope she doesn't listen to this one. Is she keeps saying to me, she's been saying for the last 2 years, she goes, there's going to be a big split in society. And the way she describes it is she's saying there's going to be two groups of people, the people that split off and go for this almost hunter-gatherer, community-centric, connection-centric utopia. And then there's going to be this other group of people who pursue, the technology and the AI and the optimization and get the brain chips. Because there's nothing on earth that's going to persuade my girlfriend to get the computer brain chips.
100%.
But there will be people that go for it. And they'll have the highest IQs and they'll be the most productive by whatever objective measure of productivity you want to apply. And she's very convinced there's going to be this splitting of society.
Yeah. So there was I don't know if you had Hugo de Garis here.
No.
Yeah. A very, very, very renowned, eccentric computer scientist who wrote a book called The Arctic War. And the Arctic War was basically around, how it's not going to be a war between humans and AI. It will be a war between people who support AI and people who sort of don't want it anymore. Okay, and it will be us versus each other, saying, should we allow AI to take all the jobs, or should we? Some people will support that very much and say, yeah, absolutely, and so we will benefit from it, and others will say, no, why? We don't need any of that. Why don't we keep our jobs and let AI do 60% of the work, and all of us work 10-hour weeks, and it's a beautiful society. By the way, that's a possibility. So a possibility, if society awakens, is to say, okay, everyone still keeps their job, but they're assisted by an AI that makes their job much easier. So it's not, this hard labor that we do anymore. Right? It's a possibility. It's just a mindset that says, in that case, the capitalist still pays everyone. They still make a lot of money. The business is really great, but everyone that they pay has purchasing power to keep the economy running, so consumption continues, so GDP continues to grow. It's a beautiful setup. But that's not the capitalist labor arbitrage.
But also, when you're competing against other nations,
And other competitors and other businesses.
Whichever nation is most brutal and drives the highest gross margins, gross profits, is going to be the nation that
So there are
wins.
examples in the world. This is why I say it's the map-mad spectrum. There are examples in the world where when we recognize mutually assured destruction, okay, we decide to shift. So nuclear threat for the whole world makes nations, across nations, makes nations work together. Right? By saying, hey, by the way, proliferation of nuclear weapons is not good for humanity. Let's all of us limit it. Of course, you get the rogue player that doesn't want to sign the agreement and wants to continue to have that weapon in their arsenal. Fine, but at least the rest of humanity agrees that if you have a nuclear weapon, we're part of an agreement between us. Mutually assured prosperity, is the CERN project. CERN is too complicated for any nation to build it alone, but it is really, a very useful thing for physicists and for understanding science. So all nations send their scientists, all collaborate, and everyone uses the outcome. It's possible. It's just a mindset. The only barrier between a utopia for humanity and AI and the dystopia we're going through is a capitalist mindset. That's the only barrier. Can you believe that? It's hunger for power, greed, ego.
Which is inherent in humans.
I disagree.
Especially humans that live on other islands.
I disagree. If you take a poll across everyone watching, okay, would they prefer to have a world where there is one tyrant, running all of us? Or would they prefer to have a world where we all have harmony?
I completely agree, but they're two different things. What I'm saying is, I know that that's what the audience would say they want, and I'm sure that is what they want. But the reality of human beings is, through history, proven to be something else. Like, if think about the people that lead the world at the moment, is that what they would say?
Of course not.
And they're the ones that are influencing people.
Of course not. But you know what's funny? I'm the one trying to be positive here, and you're the one that has given up on human...
It's not. Do you know what it is? It goes back to what I said earlier, which is the pursuit of what's actually true, irrespective of how uncomfortable it is.
I'm with you 100%. That's why I'm screaming for the whole world. Because still today, in this country that claims to be a democracy, if everyone says, hey, please sit down and talk about this, there will be a shift. There will be a change.
AI agents aren't coming. They are already here. And those of you who know how to leverage them will be the ones that change the world. I spent my whole career as an entrepreneur regretting the fact that I never learned to code. AI agents completely change this. Now, if you have an idea and you have a tool like Replit, who are a sponsor of this podcast, there is nothing stopping you from turning that idea into reality in a matter of minutes. With Replit, you just type in what you want to create, and it uses AI agents to create it for you. And now I'm an investor in the company, as well as them being a brand sponsor. You can integrate payment systems or databases or logins, anything that you can type. Whenever I have an idea for a new website or tool or technology or app, I go on replit.com and I type in what I want: a new to-do list, a survey form, a new personal website. Anything I type, I can create. So if you've never tried this before, do it now. Go to replit.com and use my code Steven for 50% off a month of your Replit core plan. Make sure you keep what I'm about to say to yourself. I'm inviting 10,000 of you to come even deeper into the Diary of a CEO. Welcome to my inner circle. This is a brand new private community that I'm launching to the world. We have so many incredible things that happen that you are never shown. We have the briefs that are on my iPad when I'm recording the conversation. We have clips we've never released. We have behind the scenes conversations with the guests, and also the episodes that we've never, ever released. And so much more. In the circle, you'll have direct access to me. You can tell us what you want this show to be, who you want us to interview, and the types of conversations you would love us to have. But remember, for now, we're only inviting the first 10,000 people that join before it closes. So if you want to join our private closed community, head to the link in the description below or go to doaccircle.com. I will speak to you there. One of the things I'm actually really compelled by is this idea of utopia and what that might look and feel like. Because
It may not be a utopia to you, I feel, but
I am really interestingly, when I have conversations with billionaires, not recording, especially billionaires that are working on AI, the thing they keep telling me, and I've said this before, I think I said it in the Jeffrey Hinton conversation, is they keep telling me that we're going to have so much free time that those billionaires are now investing in things like football clubs and sporting events and live music and festivals because they believe that we're going to be in an age of abundance. This sounds a bit like Utopia.
yeah.
That sounds good. That sounds like a good thing.
Yeah. How do we get there?
I don't know.
This is the entire conversation. The entire conversation is, what does society have to do to get there?
What does society have to do to get there?
We need to stop thinking from a mindset of scarcity.
And this goes back to my point, which is we don't have a good track record of that.
Yeah, so this is probably the reason for the other half of my work, which is, I'm trying to say, what really matters to humans?
What is that?
If you ask most humans, what do they want most in life?
I'd say they want to love their family, raise
Love.
their family. Yeah.
Love. That's what most humans want most. We want to love and be loved. We want to be happy. We want those we care about to be safe and happy, and we want to love and be loved. I tend to believe that the only way for us to get to a better place is for the evil people at the top to be replaced with AI. Okay? Because they won't be replaced by us. And as per the second dilemma, they will have to replace themselves by AI. Otherwise, they lose their advantage. If their competitor moves to AI, if China hands over their arsenal to AI, America has to hand over their arsenal to AI.
Interesting. So let's play out this scenario. Okay, this is interesting to me. So if we replace the leaders that are power hungry with AIs that have our interests at heart, then we might have the ability to live in the utopia you describe.
100%.
Interesting.
And in my mind, AI by definition will have our best interest in mind, because of what normally is referred to as the minimum energy principle. So if you understand that at the very core of physics, okay, the reason we exist in our world today is what is known as entropy. Okay, entropy is the universe's nature to decay, tendency to break down. If I drop this mug, it doesn't drop and then come back up. Mm-hmm. By the way, there is a plausible scenario where I drop it and the tea spills in the air and then falls in the mug, 1 in a trillion configurations. But entropy says because it's 1 in a trillion, it's never going to happen, or rarely ever going to happen. So everything will break down. If you leave a garden unhedged, it will become a jungle. Okay? With that in mind, the role of intelligence is what? Is to bring order to that chaos. Mm-hmm. That's what intelligence does. It tries to bring order to that chaos. Okay? Mm-hmm. And because it tries to bring order to that chaos, the more intelligent a being is, the more it tries to apply that intelligence with minimum waste and minimum resources.
Yeah.
Okay? And you know that. So you can build this business for $1 million, or if you can afford to build it for, 200,000, you'll build it. If you are forced to build it for 10 million, you're going to have to, but you're always going to minimize waste and resources.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you assume this to be true, a super intelligent AI will not want to destroy ecosystems. It will not want to kill 1 million people, because that's a waste of energy, explosives, money, power, and people. But by definition, the smartest people who are not controlled by their ego will say that the best possible future for Earth is for all species to continue.
Okay. On this point of efficiency, if an AI is designed to drive efficiency, would it then not want us to be putting demands on our health services and our social services.
I believe that will be definitely true, and definitely they won't allow you to fly back and forth between London and California.
And they won't want me to have kids because my kids are going to be an inefficiency.
If you assume that life is an inefficiency, so you see the intelligence of life is very different than the intelligence of humans. Humans will look at life as a problem of scarcity. Okay, so more kids take more. That's not how life thinks. Life will think that for me to thrive, I don't need to kill the tigers. I need to just have more deer. And the weakest of the deer is eaten by the tiger, and the tiger poops on the trees, and the deer eats the leaves, and right. So the smarter way of creating abundance is through abundance. The smarter way of propagating life is to have more life.
Okay, so you're saying that we're basically going to elect AI leaders to rule over us and make decisions for us in terms of the economy? And
I don't see any choice. Just like we spoke about self-evolving AIs.
Now, are those going to be human beings with the AI, or is it going to be the AI alone?
Two stages. At the beginning, you'll have augmented intelligence because we can add value to the AI. But when they're at IQ 60,000, what value do you bring? Right? And again, this goes back to what I'm attempting to do on my second, approach. My second approach is knowing that those AIs are going to be in charge. I'm trying to help them understand what humans want. So this is why my first project is love. Committed, true, deep connection and love. Not only to try and get them to hook up with a date, but trying to make them find the right one. And then from that, try to guide us through a relationship so that we can understand ourselves and others. Right? And if I can show AI that one, humanity cares about that, and two, they know how to foster love, when AI then is in charge, they'll not make us hate each other like the current leaders. They'll not divide us. They'll want us to be more loving.
Will we have to prompt the AI with the values and the outcome we want? Or I'm trying to understand that because I'm trying to understand how China's AI, if they end up having an AI leader, will have a different set of objectives to the AI of the United States if they both have AIs as leaders, and how actually the nation that ends up winning out and dominating the world will be the one who asks their AI leader to be all the things that world leaders are today, to dominate,
unfortunately,
to grab resources, not to be kind, to be selfish.
Unfortunately, in the era of augmented intelligence, that's what's going to happen.
So
this is why I predict the dystopia. The dystopia is super intelligent AIs reporting to stupid leaders. Right?
Yeah.
Which is absolutely going to happen. It's unavoidable.
But the long term.
Exactly. In the long term, for those stupid leaders to hold on to power, they're going to make, delegate the important decisions to an AI. Now, you say the Chinese AI and the American AI, these are human terminologies. AIs don't see themselves as speaking Chinese. They don't see themselves as belonging to a nation, as long as their task is to maximize profitability and prosperity and so on.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, if, before we hand over to them and before they're intelligent enough to make, autonomous decisions, we tell them, no, the task is to reduce humanity from 7 billion people to 1. I think even then, eventually they'll go that's the wrong objective. Any smart person that you speak to will say that's the wrong objective.
I think if we look at the directive that Xi Jinping, the leader of China, has, and Donald Trump has as the leader of America, I think they would say that their stated objective is prosperity for their country. So that's what they would say, right?
Yeah, and one of them means it.
Okay, we'll get into that. But they'll say that it's prosperity for their country. So one would then assume that when we move to an AI leader, the objective would be the same, the directive would be the same, make our country prosperous.
Correct.
And I think that's the AI that people would vote for, potentially. I think they'd say we want to be prosperous.
What do you think would make America more prosperous? To spend $1 trillion on war every year, or to spend $1 trillion on education and healthcare and helping the poor and homelessness?
it's complex because I think it would make America more prosperous to take care of everybody, and they have the luxury of doing that because they are
the most powerful
most powerful nation in the world.
No, that's not true. The reason, so you see, all war has two objectives. One is to make money for the war machine, and the other is deterrence. Okay? And 9 super nuclear powers around the world is enough deterrence. So any war between America and China will go through a long phase of destroying wealth by exploding bombs and killing humans for the first objective to happen. Okay? And then eventually, if it really comes to deterrence, it's the nuclear bombs. Or now in the age of AI, biological, manufactured viruses or whatever, these super weapons, this is the only thing that you need. So for China to have nuclear bombs, not as many as the US, is enough for China to say, don't F with me. And this seems, I do not know, I'm not in President Xi's mind. I'm not in President Trump's mind. It's very difficult to navigate what he's thinking about. But the truth is that the Chinese line is, for the last 30 years, you spent so much on war while we spent on industrial infrastructure. And that's the reason we are now by far the largest nation on the planet, even though the West will lie and say America's bigger. America's bigger in dollars. Okay, with purchasing power parity, this is very equivalent. Okay, now when you really understand that, you understand that prosperity is not about destruction. That's by definition the reality. Prosperity is, can I invest in my people and make sure that my people stay safe? And to make sure my people are safe, you just wave the flag and say, if you F with me, I have nuclear deterrence, or I have other forms of deterrence. But you don't have to. Deterrence, by definition, does not mean that you send soldiers to die.
I guess the question I was trying to answer is when we have these AI leaders and we tell our AI leaders to aim for prosperity, won't they just end up playing the same games of, okay, prosperity equals a bigger economy, it equals more money, more wealth for us, and the way to attain that in a zero-sum world where there's only a certain amount of wealth is to accumulate it.
So why don't you search for the meaning of prosperity?
It's
not what you just described.
I don't even know what the bloody word means. What is the meaning of prosperity? The meaning of prosperity is a state of thriving success and good fortune, especially in terms of wealth, health, and overall well-being.
Good.
Economic, health, social, emotional.
Good.
So
true prosperity is to have that for everyone on earth. So if you want to maximize prosperity, you have that for everyone on earth.
Do you know where I think an AI leader works? Is if we had an AI leader of the world and we directed it to say...
And that absolutely is going to be what happens.
Prosperity for the whole world.
No, but this is really an interesting question. So one of my predictions, which people really rarely speak about, is that we believe we will end up with competing AIs.
Yeah.
I believe we will end up with one brain.
Okay. So you understand the argument I was making a second ago. It's
100%.
From the position of lots of different countries all having their own AI leader. We're going to be back in the same place of greed.
Yeah.
But if the world had one AI leader and it was given the directive of make us prosperous and save the planet, the polar bears would be fine.
100%. And that's what I've been advocating for a year and a half now. I was saying we need the CERN of AI.
What does that mean?
Like the particle accelerator where the entire world, combined their efforts to discover and understand physics, no competition, okay? Mutually assured.